We had a finalist last year.
On it goes in now to Doué. Doué's in! That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
A finalist 2 years prior.
Now to shoot! Score! Rodri! Manchester City lead in the Champions League final!
And 2 semi-finalists in 2023.
Ragazzi, perché?
So, can Serie A finally have their Champions League winner? Well, this season, Napoli, Atalanta, Inter and Juventus will provide the answer. With round 1 of the group phase just around the corner, we'll make our unbiased predictions. For those who have forgotten the format, here's a quick reminder. There are 36 teams in total. The top 8 qualify directly for the knockout phase, while teams position 9 to 24 will play home and away playoff encounters. The bottom 12 teams are eliminated after only 8 games in the league phase. The only difference this year compared to last season is that the top 8 teams are heavily favoured during the knockout stage. This is because they'll play their second legs at home in each knockout round. Consequently, if a team outside the top 8 beats a team inside the top 8, they automatically receive this huge advantage. So now that we've covered the important details, let's get straight to business. First and foremost, early expectations are that all Italian teams will perform exceedingly well because they were all drawn against favourable opponents. The only real concern was Napoli, as they were in the third pot, but it turned out that they might actually have the best draw, at least on paper. So why don't we start with them? They have Chelsea at home, Man City away in De Bruyne's return to the Etihad Stadium, Frankfurt in Naples, Benfica in Portugal, Sporting at the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium, PSV away, Karabag at home and Copenhagen in Denmark. Look, the fate did what Napoli actually deserved, to receive a draw, appropriate for a champion of one of the top 5 European leagues. I don't know who made the decision to get rid of this, but filling pot 1 only with champions of the respective leagues was the best possible idea. Never mind. Starting off chronologically, it's Man City in round 1, the most anticipated match for every Napoli fan until the end of 2025, kicking off in a couple of days. Expectations for this match are huge, mostly because Kevin De Bruyne will be making a heartbreaking return to the Etihad just 12 weeks after leaving. Early signs suggest that City are not starting the season well after losing to Tottenham and Brighton, which will give Conte's Napoli a confidence boost. Overall, I think a draw at the Etihad is a fair prediction, given both teams' current form. Next up are Sporting at home and PSV away. Anything less than 4 points from those 2 games would be criminal for Napoli. And I think they'll secure that. Yes, the opponents are tough, the Portuguese and Dutch champions, but I predict 4 points for Napoli. Then there are 2 home fixtures against Frankfurt and Karabag. Now, when I say that Napoli had the best draw out of all the Italian participants, I really mean it. Not only did they play the seemingly easiest opponents, but their schedule is also perfect. After potentially earning 5 points from their first 3 games, they'll have 2 more games in which they'll give their all to secure a further 6 and essentially secure a top 24 spot only after 5 rounds. I totally think they'll win against Frankfurt and Karabag. Next are Benfica, to close the year with a tough away game, as well as Copenhagen away on the 20th of January. I don't expect Napoli to finish their campaign unbeaten, and a loss at Benfica's Estadio da Luz, one of the toughest places to perform, sounds the most logical outcome for the Parthenope. Nevertheless, they'll begin the year with a win in Denmark and conclude their league phase campaign with a solid draw against Chelsea at Maradona. The Blues are looking impressive with their current squad, but we saw a significant decline in their performance around December and January last season, so I expect the same to happen again. All in all, they'll get 17 points, which will be enough for Napoli to qualify in the top 8, or at least according to Opta Analyst. So we started with the champions. Shall we continue with the runners-up from last season? Inter. They've been drawn against Liverpool at home, Dortmund away, Arsenal at home, Atletico Madrid away, Slavia Prague at home, Ajax away, Karat Almaty at home, and Union Saint-Gilloise away. Considering the 4 opponents from pots 1 and 2, I don't think it's up for debate that Inter have a much tougher draw than Napoli. Starting from round 1, the Nerazzurri play Ajax away on 17th of September. It would be underrated opinion to say that Inter won't win that match, but consider this. 4 days earlier, they play Juventus away at the Allianz Stadium. Then they come back to Milan, and around a day later they're on the road again to Amsterdam. It's not just the logistics though. Ajax have a solid squad and are yet to lose this season, so a 1-1 draw would be a fair result. Inter will then continue their journey with 3 consecutive wins, accumulating 10 points by mid-November. Yes, they have Slavia Prague, Union Saint-Gilloise and Karat Almaty in 3 consecutive rounds, which could give the Nerazzurri a fantastic confidence boost, but could also be devastating if they get anything less than 7 points out of those 3 matches. Nevertheless, back-to-back wins is the only logical approach. Then comes the real challenge for Inter, with a trip to Madrid to play Atletico. Atletico, with a brand new exciting squad full of talent, will be playing at home. It sounds like one of those games where 2 defensive sides clash, but one always has the edge. In this match, that team would be Atletico. 10 points at Inter after 5 rounds. Next up is Liverpool at the Giuseppe Meazza. Much as I hate to say it, I just can't see the inexperienced Christian Kivu beating Arne Slot's Liverpool, who have just set a new Premier League record for the most expensive transfer window. This concludes Inter's 2025 Champions League campaign. Their final 2 games are against Arsenal at home and Dortmund away. You can argue with me in the comments, but I don't think this Inter side will win either of those 2 games, so maybe 2 draws or a win and a draw makes more sense. That would give them 12 points in total after 8 games, which would mean only one thing: a guaranteed top 24 spot and a place in the playoffs. If Inter grab 11 points, the story is absolutely the same. Next up, Juventus. To be completely honest, on paper this looks slightly tougher than Napoli, but much easier than Inter. Dortmund and Real Madrid from pot 1, hosting the German giant and travelling to the Bernabeu. Benfica and Villarreal from pot 2, with an away game in Spain and home one in Naples. Sporting at home, Bodo Glimt away from pot 3, and the debutant Paphos at home, and AS Monaco away from pot 4. Remember when I said that Juventus' draw was decent? This is what I meant when I said that the schedule is also extremely important to a club's success in the Champions League. Juve played Dortmund at home and then have back-to-back away fixtures in Spain against Villarreal and Real Madrid. They could potentially get 0 points from those 3 games, and their whole Champions League campaign would be ruined. Of course, this is far too adventurous an approach, but they won't win any of those 3 games. 2 draws against Dortmund and Villarreal, who by the way are flying high and are currently 3rd in La Liga, and a loss to Real Madrid. But that wouldn't eliminate their chances of finishing in the top 24. After that, they could gain momentum with 3 wins against Sporting, Bodo Glimt and Paphos, earning 11 points after 6 rounds. The final 2 are Benfica at the Allianz Stadium and Monaco at the Stade Louis II. I have no idea what will happen in any of those games, but 4 points after a win against Benfica and a draw against Monaco would take them to 15 points, putting them on the edge between 8th and 9th place. For comparison, last season, Aston Villa finished 8th with 16 points, while Atalanta were 1 position below with 15. And mentioning the goddess, or La Dea in Italian, they have a challenging schedule ahead of them, but there are also great opportunities. They'll play Chelsea at home, current champions PSG away, Club Bruges at home, Frankfurt away, Slavia Prague at home, Marseille away, Athletic Club at home, and Union Saint-Gilloise. As we discussed in our analysis video, why Serie A clubs can't keep a coach longer than a year, nothing good awaits Atalanta if they continue to rely on Ivan Juric. They started the campaign with 2 games that should have guaranteed them 6 points. They only grabbed 2 points, however, and criticism of Juric has arisen. If he doesn't deliver soon, I can absolutely imagine him being the first major coach to be sacked in Serie A. Nevertheless, Atalanta have been unlucky in the league phase draw, as it looks tough to say the least. It all starts with a trip to Paris, where they'll probably lose their opening game against PSG. Then in round 2, anything other than 3 points at home against Club Bruges will put Atalanta under pressure. They will stabilise further with 4 more points in the next 2 games against Slavia Prague and Marseille. However, things will become more challenging, as Atalanta are expected to lose to Frankfurt and Chelsea before the end of 2025, leaving them with 7 out of a possible 18 points. The new year will start on a high, as Atalanta will need to perform strongly to secure a place in the top 24. After earning 7 points from their first 6 games, they will need to win at least 4 points from their final 2 matches against Athletic Club and Union Saint-Gilloise. They will achieve this, as their trip to Belgium will be hugely important and incredibly dramatic, I might say. Nevertheless, we predict that all 4 Italian participants will finish within the top 24, with Napoli even managing to reach the top 8. Now, what's your prediction? How do you see the Serie A giants performing in Europe this season? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below, and remember, your opinion is always important to us. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Blue Card, or check out our latest prediction upload on the Serie A standings this season. See you soon.